100 is a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
Now, we made an agreement with them years ago, and we made an agreement with them not too long ago. So to change their mind again, I don't know how that looks, but I wanted to bring it up for discussion.
Yep, so I wanna remind you all that under the development agreement, while they did pay for those allocations were to have expired, and they were not entitled to receive a refund for their dollars. So there's no requirement to repay that $437,000, and they are not locked into that old rate. In addition, when you all discussed it last, you agreed to not charge it, but there was no agreement, the development team wasn't even here. I think the discussion with you all, and I believe what you were being told at the time was that the development wanted to get moving, and it was a benefit to the town to get the development moving, and you were trying to make a concession with getting the development moving by not, applying these additional fees, but nothing would need to be done as far as negotiating or contract or an agreement to charge that additional amount.
I mean, I don't think that what we're asking, the $4,200, and I'm not saying that exact amount, but it's not a lot of money in today's market. But when you multiply it over 100 houses, it's a lot. I just have a hard time explaining to somebody that comes in and says, well, how come I gotta pay X amount and he only has to pay that amount?
And
That's where I'm at.
And they're just gonna pass it on to the consumer, they're just gonna
Absolutely.
add to the cost of the house.
Yep.
And at that price, they're already selling them cheap, you see, probably, they're selling them like hotcakes, so another $4,300 added to their cost, I don't see where that's gonna hurt.
Some of them are sold before they're even built. I mean, they're just starting to build and they got sold signs on them, which I'm great. Don't get me wrong, I'm happy that they're coming and they've been good neighbors so far. Donna, we talked about putting the fence up so to help the public that was there on the other side, and they quickly did that without a fuss at all. We've asked them to put some signs up, put the streets and stop signs and so forth since there's traffic out there. So near as I can tell, they've been good partners to the community, and I want them to continue to be good partners. I just want to be fair with
Yep.
everybody, and, you know, 4,000 times 100, that's $400,000, if my math is right. That's a lot of money
I mean,
for us that we could use for the cost of our plant.
Yep, I would put together a letter or an email explaining that you're still not charging the full amount that you would be entitled to charge.
But
And
back when that agreement was back then, in what, 2012? I mean, a long time ago, the cost of everything's going up, so they gotta
Right.
understand that, just like everything else is going up, groceries, gas, the whole 9 yards, so I don't see where that's gonna kill, so.
It would be an additional $537,500.
Well, I've had my say, so I'll let the rest of the council speak, but I was the one that brought it up, so that's why I went for it.
Do you have to draft anything for that, for them?
we should put them on notice, but it doesn't need to be in agreement.
Right.
Well, I make a motion that we just charge them what we charge everybody else,
Right.
or whatever the type of property our application is.
All right, well, we have a motion by Commissioner Berulia that we charge, any future houses other than ones that have already got their permits, the going rate that everybody else would have, since I don't have the exact number in front of me, but you can get that. So
Joe
Yeah,
seconded.
wait.
So Joe seconded already, he's in a hurry. So any further discussion on this? Christina, I haven't heard you say anything. All right, so then I will look for a vote. Would you call the vote, please?
Christina.
Yes.
Joe? Bobby?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Lindsay, you will draft up a letter for us to.
Yeah, if you've already done the calculations on the difference, you can send that back in. Perfect.
All right, thank you. I apologize, but I got a lot of papers in front of me. All right, the consumer confidence report, drinking water report. Cindy?
So we received the Town of Greensboro's annual drinking water quality report for 2024. It is posted on our website and also on Facebook, and we also sent this to MDE. Does anybody have any questions or any concerns?
The only question I have is, at some point, with the new standards that we discussed last year, eventually will trickle down to us. We're gonna have to consider some type of filtering system. Because just coming out, just our normal groundwater is already right at the minimum for fluoride, and the new standard could change. So at some point, we're gonna have to consider investing in some type of filtering system. And if we're gonna do it, we might as well do it with a lot of other stuff too.
I'll sit with Brandon and we'll.
But we
go
need
with it.
to plan ahead, because it's gonna come probably within the next 24 to 36 months.
Maybe start putting in their budget for
Yeah, we're
next
gonna get
year.
federal standards that are gonna tell us we have to do things.
Correct.
Right, okay. Any other concerns? Thank you.
Okay, moving on then, to the Susquehanna contract.
So we received this, but not in time to make any, changes as far as if we wanted to change company or do anything. Brandon and I did have a sit down, over the phone with George, who is the owner, and come up with some resolutions of things that weren't being done and now are being done. We also have a new operator that started. Hopefully that's gonna work out a lot better. But, you know, moving forward, I've got some ideas of maybe for next year, what we can do to help resolve this issue and this contract. So, once I get some details, I'll be forwarding that to you for, to look into. And I've got it on my calendar 4 months in advance for us to take a look at this before it comes up for renewal.
Okay, and they were gracious enough to continue operating the plant until we, actually approved the contract. And, did it go up significantly? I remember you gave us a number, but I don't think it was a lot.
It did go up, but not a whole lot.
Was it significant? All right. All right, so, any discussion on the contract with Susquehanna? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve the contract.
I did wanna say something, because I think it was brought up in the last meeting about having an operator or somebody under that. And Brandon, I think, does have his, number one.
I got, so, yeah, kind of temporary order until.
Right, cause that was brought up in the meeting.
In order to operate the pump stations.
Correct.
And the wells as needed.
Right.
I'll work under,
Susquehanna's, right, correct. I just wanted to make sure that they understood that, because that was a big issue too,
Yes.
that somebody was not being done.
Yes, when I looked over the contract, I made a lot of notes. I forwarded those notes to you all as well, of what was being done and what wasn't being done. And then, Brandon and I met with him, and I think they've been complying since then.
You've been getting the data you're supposed to get on a regular basis.
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so in reference to the increase, it went from $21,703 a month to $21,277 a month to, $21,703 a month was the increase. And it goes up every year, so,
Just like our costs, it goes over there.
yeah.
All right, I'm still looking for that motion to approve the, renewal of the contract with Susquehanna.
I'll make the motion to renew the contract with Susquehanna.
All right, and do we have a second?
Second.
And we have a motion and a second to approve of the renewal of the contract with Susquehanna to continue operating our wastewater treatment plant. Could you please call the roll?
Christina?
Yes.
Joe?
Aye.
Bobby?
Yes.
Pete?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, it's unanimous then, we renew the contract, and I will go ahead and sign it, thank you. All right, Lindsay, you're back up.
Okay.
We're down to the codes violation, and it predominantly is the grass, which generated, this discussion, again, at my request. Right now, when we go out and cut somebody's grass, we fine them $100. But we cut the grass. So essentially, we're cutting their grass for $100.
So, what I have drafted says, it adds a new section 11.3, weeds, grass, rubbish, and garbage. And it says every dwelling lot or vacant lot essentially has to be kept clean, free from accumulation of dirt, filth, rubbish, trash, garbage, brush, weeds, etc. And then the next section is, they shall be kept clean and free from weeds and brush exceeding 6 inches, which will be changed to 10. It shall be the duty of any property owner to keep it under that condition. If the occupant or owner fails to comply with this section, the town, after due notice, not less than 3 days, you have to give the property owner or occupant 3 days' notice that they're in violation and that they, how to remedy it. If they don't, then the town has the authority to correct the problem by cutting or removing, and the charge shall become a lien upon the property. So this allows you to charge for the cutting and a citation.
So, repeat offender, is it gonna be $100 every time, or are we gonna start stacking it up?
You can only charge for each new offense. So if I don't cut my grass on a Monday and then I cut it and 2 weeks from now I don't cut again, I'm a new offender. But you can
We've
charge
been told in the past that any subsequent violation was $200.
it is, so a first offense and any subsequent, but it's not subsequent as far as this is your second violation. It's subsequent as far as
They didn't comply.
it exists, and now it still exists, and it still exists. So you can, if on Monday they get a violation, on Tuesday they can get 200, on Wednesday they can get 300.
So it's an additional 100. It's not, first time you fine them $100, second time you fine them 200,
Yes,
second time you can fine them
If
300.
they
third
don't
time,
comply.
yeah.
And now, if they don't cut it, we go.
Yeah, if they don't.
Now, right now, we currently give them 10 days to comply with the notice.
That's up to you. So what I have drafted is 3 days. That could be 7 days, it can be 10 days, it can be whatever.
So part of the problem we had in, hold this, not get to this. The part of the problem we've had in the past is that our mail system isn't quite as efficient as it was back when we had to ride the horses. And it could get the mail to you, so.
You don't have to give notice by mail, you can give notice by posting, you know, some places do a door hanger on the front door, you can do a postcard on the front door.
But we've been sending them a letter, and then what we changed was, instead of saying 10 days from this notice, we put the violation date. If you, from this date forward, so if you didn't get your mail for 7 days, you didn't know about it, so then they thought they had another 10 days to wait, so now we were actually 17 days. So, what you're saying with 3 days would make it even worse if we continue to use the mail system.
No, so what you should do is, either a postcard that doesn't go through the mail, that is hand delivered, or a door hanger, or, a placard that goes on their front door.
And that's sufficient.
Yeah.
And we can go on their property to do that, and not get locked up.
No, you walk around the front door, I mean, I wouldn't go into the back and
Well,
walk
I'm
inside
not going in
and
the
put it
back,
on
but I
the
mean,
drive room, but.
yeah. Some people will say, why you on my
No
property?
different than tagging them for water.
Correct.
So my other thought is that we don't want to be cutting your grass.
Right.
So, we have to send our employees out there, and there's wear and tear on our equipment when they do that. So, I was wondering if we could consider, if we cut your grass, we're gonna charge you for cutting it,
But that's what's in here,
and fine you $100.
correct. And some places don't want to use their town property, and so they do an RFP for a contractor.
We've done that.
Where does it say how much we're gonna charge them?
If you charge the cost of the cutting,
So we gotta determine that.
Well,
no,
you determine that by.
Not in the
what's gonna cut.
ordinance.
You could say, we're fining you $100, and Brandon says it costs me $45.
Well, I mean, the town has to decide that, cause if I charge you to cut your grass, you're gonna say, well, how'd you come up with that?
right, which is why the easiest thing to do is to get a contractor to cut it, because then there is a hourly rate, or a per acre
Who's
rate,
that
or
figure?
whatever. Well, we can't put a set fee in here, because one property is larger than the next, it's not gonna be applicable.
Did I answer your question?
No.
Okay.
I was just digging into it a little deeper, cause we're only talking about the grass cutting, but in that ordinance, it's litter. Are employees gonna go out there and pick up the litter out of
No.
the yard?
So this is
or-
only for, weeds and brush exceeding 6 inches, giving the authority to go on and cut. It is not, this does address litter and rubbish, but that is just in a violation sense, not
Is that
giving
an
authority.
additional fine if it's not cleaned up?
No, so the fine remains still $100 for the rubbish. I also included a new section, regulation of the placement of refuse and other wasteful collection that requires placing waste in an actual receptacle, just because it's common to be within grass and weeds and littering ordinances. to give the ability to issue a citation if there are properties that constantly have trash sitting outside of trash cans. But it does not give the town the authority to collect that trash and fine for collection of that trash.
And then my last part of that is, I'm all about the less time you give these people to hang themselves, the better. But what if someone goes on vacation
Yeah.
and it's been raining for a week and they can't cut their grass before they get on an airplane to Aruba?
Yeah, I mean, that's part of the,
I mean,
what they have
can
to
they
consider.
show plane tickets, or then can they show a receipt
Well, I guess they
from a
could call the
hotel?
town hall and say, look, we're gonna be going, I've done it when I've been on vacation, I've contacted the police.
I just hate to see innocent people, like
Right.
law-abiding,
I-
ordinance-abiding.
I would like to think that if you called up here and said, I'm going on vacation from this date to that date, please don't fine me for not cutting my grass, I'll cut it as soon as I get back, I would think
Especially
we
with
would
the crazy
consider
weather
that.
that we've had.
Yeah.
And,
We don't wanna be finding people, it's just,
No.
you've seen them,
Right.
I mean, some of them,
Exactly.
it looks like
I live across the street from one. What are you talking about? I've been in here for 2 years complaining about them.
Not to get too far into this, but you can always appeal, you can be put on the agenda to appeal a violation. So if something like that happened, and someone was out of town and did the violation, they can always request to get put on the agenda, speak to the council, explain the circumstances, and we have the right thing to say whether or not to move forward with the violation.
So, I don't know if this applies to this part of it or not, but one of the things that we're kind of deliberating right now is that a lot of the people, we have some people who are not trimming the trees over top of the sidewalk. So you can't walk down the sidewalk without get bumped in the head by tree limbs. And then I know we have in our ordinance where if the chief rides around and your bush is blocking the view in an intersection or a stop sign, we can fix that. But we have to go through and send them a notice and all that. I mean, somebody could have an accident while we're waiting to do all that. Is there a better, quicker way, more efficient way to do that when there's a safety issue involved?
So I would take the position that if it's a safety issue, send a citation.
Because you can't, if you come down Maple Avenue to the stop sign at Main Street, you cannot see it
Amen.
for the bushes.
So,
And
If you're coming from
citation.
Ridgely.
So, when we send notice, it is to put property owners on notice of what the violation is. And when there are cases that have multiple violations, we like to do the letter first, putting them on notice so that there's due process. Give them the opportunity to cure before issuing the violation because they're likely to end up in court.
And then if they don't do it in however many days, then we go around and cut it.
No, so for those ones that are more egregious and it's just one act, someone could easily go on and cut their limbs, I would just issue the citation when you see it. And don't worry about the letter.
Just issue a citation and then give them so many days to cut it.
Yep.
And if they don't, then we go cut it.
Yeah, but don't we have a right of way for a certain percentage, like if it's on, like the stop, if it's at the stop sign, it's our right of way to cut that bush.
You should
because-
have easement.
Right, because you have water and sewer, so we have the right, you have the right to come on the property to that meter, whether it's back 10 feet off my property or right at the road. So the same thing, if it's at a stop sign or at a corner, you should have the right to go in and just take that bush or cut it down or whatever you need to do, because it is a danger to me. So,
I would rather fine them and go from there. Then people get weird about their trees and then they're suing you for trespassing and damaging property and that was their favorite bush that their grandmother gave them.
So we have nothing in our code that we've been able to find to allow us to cut the tree limbs over top the sidewalk.
I mean, I can add it to this.
We need to put it somewhere. We haven't been able to find it anywhere in our code.
Okay.
And that's a big issue.
well, technically, anything hanging over my fence, I'm allowed to cut because it's on my
Yeah, I
property.
mean, if anything hanging over their property line.
Yeah, but you're standing on your property.
Well, standing on a public sidewalk, it should be the same thing, or it's a public, it's a safety hazard, our town should be able to cut, at least trim it back out of the hazard.
Kevin
But-
Park's did it to my tree.
All right, so we've discussed this probably longer than we needed to. I apologize for that, but I think that we'd like to get her. We're going to be able to finalize it tonight, so we need something to be able to introduce at the next meeting.
Yes.
So,
It will be this.
so am I hearing, how many days do you want to give them to cut the grass and or trim the trees and all that stuff? We've been doing 10.
I think 10's too many, but
5 business days.
I was gonna say 5 business days would be, That gives people time for the weekend, and like you said, if there's people on vacation, and they're not gonna get fined because most people go for a week.
I'll speak on that. Can we use the door hanger idea versus the mail?
Absolutely.
Because we have also ran across where people have no access to mail.
Yeah.
So it's easier.
The mail's too slow. If we can do the
Door hanger.
sticky on the window or door hanger, then take a picture of it,
Take a picture,
that you
yeah.
put it there.
Okay, I'll send you
So,
one.
council, I need for you to let me know, together, how many days you wanna have. I got 5-day recommendation,
5 business.
5 business days.
5 business days recommendation. Is there a second for that?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Joe?
Okay,
All right, so you will prepare,
I will amend it for the next meeting.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, getting stuff done. Mayor and council agenda policy. Lindsay, would you like to tackle this one?
Yes, so, it was discussed a few meetings ago about having a more robust agenda policy, not only to address public comment, but also to be more transparent and address when agendas are to be set, what items are to be on the agenda, when those documents are to be available, not only to the council, but also to the public. How agendas are set and types of meetings. So what I drafted is a mayor and council agenda policy that includes a lot of language from your charter, so the quorum and voting requirements come from your charter, that, it has to be a quorum of the council, or in the absence of the council, the mayor